It's Grow Bonsai. It's 3-Minute Thursday. It's root pruning decision making time. What's happening, bonsai friends? In this 3-Minute Thursday video, I'm going to be root pruning some crabapple pre-bonsai. These are the fellas. They started life as cell-grown trees, or in the US, I think you call them liners. I planted them up in the spring last year, left them to grow. Now it's time to do their first root working. These crab apples, I will work the roots and I will grow them on for another year. In a year's time, I will do some more work to the roots, and then I will look to make some decisions about whether I train some as shohin bonsai, or whether I plant them into the ground to grow them as larger bonsai. We'll make that decision next year. In the first root working, we are setting the root system up to have that beautiful spreading nebari, or root base. The nebari is an important feature of a bonsai. It really lends to the illusion of age and stability in a tree. And so any work that we can do, super windy today, any work that we can do is going to really add to the value of that tree. Okay, so these cell grown, or these liners, their root systems weren't particularly great when I got hold of them. They were quite root bound and they tended to have 2 or 3 really thick roots crammed into this small cell space. By planting them for a year and doing no work, it really allowed them to spread their roots out. Let's dive in to root pruning these crab apples. For this one, I'm simply aiming to transition the energy of the root system from this ball of roots down below up to the roots near the surface. Working my way back until I've got a much better idea of whether roots are coming from the surface or from the taproot. If I'm not sure, I'm going to leave them. There you go, that's opened the system up much better. Isolate that bunch of roots that we don't want. We're only going to be removing roots that we don't want. We're not going to accidentally be removing roots that we need to keep. That's isolated that stump. Again, we don't need that. Off that comes. Isolate the stump. Now that we can see what we're doing a bit better, let's address 1 or 2 of these surface roots without going too bananas. We need to make sure we leave enough for the tree to survive. This root here comes down and then sweeps off to the left. We can see in here we've got some side roots coming from this root, so that we can comfortably cut this one back to here. So this root here comes out fairly nicely but then curves back in. So we're going to cut this one fairly close to the trunk. So this root here comes out from the trunk and curves back under. So we'll prune this one as well. We can see that there are some fine feeder roots coming from it here. So we'll prune this one below those fine feeder roots. Same deal with this one. For the first working, I'm happy with that one now. So the root system of this one's quite crazy, so I'm not going to muck around with this one. I'm going to cut this back fairly indiscriminately. There we go, I've been pretty aggressive with this one. Okay, in this example, instead of removing a lot from the bottom, I'm going to bring the root base down, because we've got quite a lot of high up straggly roots which are pretty much just on their own. So I'm going to remove this guy here that's just coming from nowhere. These can go. This one around here. These wispy bits can go. This thicker one, some around here. So we've actually brought the base of this tree a fair bit lower. The danger in doing this is that you end up with inverse taper. So it's best to stop when it looks like the trunk is getting narrower. Now that we've done that, I can see that we've still got some scope to cut this taproot style thing back quite aggressively. So this was another aggressive root pruning. Come back in a year's time and see how that one's got on. Last and probably least is this one. We've got some crazy roots growing upwards here, look. Get rid of that one. This one's growing directly up. Take out this bunch of roots that are all on their own, quite high up the trunk. And I think for this one, we'll leave it there. But there we go, that's these crab apples. First root working complete. I've taken you through some of the decisions that I'm making when I am pruning the roots for the first time. It's about trying to find and establish a relatively flat base. We can be quite harsh with these roots, but we don't need to go too far if we don't have to. If you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I'll speak to you soon.